Hello, my name is Tanya Bird Lee, and this lesson is designed for a high school class of approximately 30 11th grade students. While this lesson could be appropriate for any subject, it is targeted for an English class that is preparing to do research for upcoming debate about the immigration policy in the United States. The title of the lesson is How Much Should You Trust It? How to determine if a source of information is trustworthy. The main goals of the lesson is number 1, to help students recognize the attributes of a trustworthy source of information, and number 2, to help students to become aware of the possible consequences of relying on inaccurate information sources. What does the word trustworthy mean? With your definition of trustworthy in mind, consider to what degree you trust the sources in the following 2 scenarios. Scenario 1. You were sick yesterday and missed school. A student who frequently sleeps in class claims that the teacher changed the test day from tomorrow to next week. How much should you trust this source? A, for the most part, B, a little bit, or C, not at all. What answer did you select and why? What could be a consequence if the information this source presents is incorrect? Scenario 2. You have to write a report about a famous scientist for science class. You find a website that appears to have good information, but is written by a student who attends Stuyvesant High School, one of the top schools in New York City. How much should you trust this source? A, for the most part, B, a little bit, or C, not at all. What answer did you select and why? What could be a consequence if the information this source presents is incorrect? You guys gave some great answers, and hopefully you understand now why it's important to choose trustworthy sources of information. One way to do this is by using the CRAP test. Consider the following to determine if an information source is trustworthy. C, currency, R, reliability, A, authority, P, purpose. If your source is weak in any category, then the information may be crap. Now let's break these categories down. C is currency. How up to date is your source? Does the information source have a publication date posted? When was the source created? When was the last update? So it's important that your source has up-to-date information. R, reliability. How accurate is the source? What kind of information is included? Is the information complete? Does the information have grammar and spelling errors, which would indicate that an amateur created it? A, authority. Who wrote the source? So it's important to know what individual or group authored the source. What were their credentials? Did they have a PhD in the subject? Does the author have first-hand experience with the topic? And lastly, P, purpose. So why was the source created? So why did the author create this source? Is the information biased or relies on stereotypes in any way? Does the source present mainly facts, opinions, or propaganda? What you see here is a CRAP scoring guide. We will use this scoring guide to evaluate the trustworthiness of an information source that I will find using a search engine like most of you will do in preparation for your upcoming immigration policy debate for English class. So this is how you fill it out. You go through each category, CRAP. You look at the questions that relate to each category. And from the questions, you make observations about what you actually see in the website, like how it addresses the questions. And from there, you're going to come up with an overall score of the source evaluation. Is it trustworthy? Is it a source to be wary of? Or is it crap? And you have to explain your rating. After I've modeled how to use the CRAP scoring guide, the class will be divided into groups of 3 students each. Using the CRAP scoring guide, each group will evaluate the trustworthiness of 2 information sources that they select using an internet search engine. Afterwards, each student will receive an exit slip in which he or she will explain 2 attributes of a trustworthy source and 1 consequence of receiving information from unreliable sources. That's the end of the lesson. I would like to thank you for your time, attention, and participation. I hope you gain a better understanding of how to identify a trustworthy source of information and why it's important to do so. The internet is often referred to as the information highway, and not everything you encounter on the internet should be trusted. Hopefully the skills practiced in this lesson will help you avoid from stepping into the crap. Happy researching!